Valley Club, in this video, we have the kit review and gameplay for the hottest character coming in Marvel Strike Force, Mephisto, and the hottest team coming up in Marvel Strike Force in Cabal, featuring Iron Patriot, Leader, and the rework Namor. We're going to take a look at all of their kits and the gameplay for each of these characters, and if you're ready for that, Valley Club, then you know what to do. Find that like button, and let's go smash it! And welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I'm ValleyFlyin. I hope you're having a great day, and if you're looking for the kits and the gameplay for Mephisto and the Cabal team, then you are in the right place. That is what we are revealing in this video. But before we get to all that, if this is your first time here or you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button for more great Marvel Strike Force content. At least 5 Marvel Strike Force videos per week on the channel. Usually there's more. We got kit reveals like this, gameplay, news videos, everything help your experience in Marvel Strike Force. Without further ado, let's jump right onto the test server, take a look at the kits for these new characters. And the first character we're taking a look at today is Mephisto. He is seeking to rule the world and enjoys cutting deals in exchange for souls. He has a brand new battlefield effect called Mark of Mephisto, and his attacks reduce the maximum health of an enemy, preventing the target from being able to heal fully during the match. We take a look at his stats here. His speed is a decent 127, so not a slow, not a fast character, but pretty good. He's a villain, cosmic, mystic, protector, and he does have that mythic tag. And in case you're wondering what the unique for Mephisto is, it is this stuff, the augmented arcane magic. Agatha takes that, Moondragon takes that, Doctor Strange Heartless takes that, a few other characters. And as we move forward to the basic of Mephisto, his whole kit is a wall of text, so bear with me. The T4 is going to add 100% damage to the primary and secondary targets, and you're going to rebound chain to 2 adjacent enemies. What the move is going to do in totality, you're going to attack the primary target, 300% damage. You're going to apply 2 bleeds for 2 turns, defense down for a turn. The damage reduces the max health of the target by the same amount. You're also going to rebound chain to 2 adjacent targets for 250% damage, applying 2 bleeds for 2 turns, defense down for a turn, and the damage reduces the maximum health of any of the targets by the same amount. If this target is a crit, well, you are going to gain regeneration for 3 turns. You're also going to gain an immunity up to a maximum of 3. This character has ability block. This attack always crits, and this attack is unavoidable. It cannot be blocked, cannot be counterattacked. Very similar move from the ISO 8 and counterattack. You're going to do a little less damage, but a little bit more piercing. Most of the rest of the moves are the same. As we move on to the special, as you can see, is a 3-turn cooldown. You're starting with 3 ability energy. The T4 is going to add 100% damage to the primary target, 10% more healing, and you're going to fill the speed bar by 10%. What the move will do in totality with the T4 attached, you're going to attack the primary target, 500% damage. You're going to clear 3 positive effects, apply trauma for a turn, disrupted for 2 turns. The damage reduces the max health of the target by the same amount. So yeah, you're reducing a lot of max health from all of Mephisto's moves. This character, all Ghost Rider, Ghost Rider Robbie, and Cosmic Ghost Rider allies, you're going to flip all negative effects to positive effects. You're going to heal for 20% of this character's max health, fill the speed bar by 20% in totality. Also, if this character has any hero allies, apply taunt for 2 turns to all hero allies. If the character does not have any hero allies, apply taunt for 2 turns with a villain ally with the highest health. Apply defense up for 2 turns to all allies and self. And you're also going to mind control the enemy with the highest damage to attack the primary target. The controlled character gains 50% damage for this attack. Offense down for 2 turns to all enemies. So very, very strong move. Moving on to the ultimate, it is a 3 out of 6 energy cost. So you're starting with 3 energy. What the T4 is going to do, it's going to add 150% damage to all enemies. And what the move will do in totality for all mythic enemies, applying vulnerable, flipping immunity, applying ability block for 2 turns. You're also going to attack all enemies 150% or 750% damage. You're getting 150 from the T4, 750 total, applying trauma for 2 turns. The damage reduces the max health of the target by the same amount. You're going to clear battlefield effects on the allied side. You're going to apply the battlefield effect Mark of Mephisto to the allied side. And what the Mark of Mephisto does on any turn, barrier all allies by 5% of this character's max health. Allies are going to gain 50% drain and armor. Allies cannot gain trauma. Allies cannot have their speed bar reduced. And this battlefield effects is going to last until the end of the match or until it's cleared. And moving on to the passive for Mephisto, the T4 is going to add 10% more max barrier, 25% more max health, and allies are also going to gain 10% more max health. What the passive is going to look like in totality, this character cannot be revived. When this character is alive, allies and enemies cannot be revived as well on spawn. This character is not a clone, does not have exhausted, gains 666% speed until this character's first turn. This character has any mythic enemies gain charge. On this character's first turn, he's not a clone, did not spawn with exhausted, become empowered. And we're gonna go over in just a little bit what the empowered state is. It's gonna change the basic, special, ultimate, and passive for this character. When he loses empowered, you're gonna do the following for 2 turns, applying safeguard, defense up, and offense up, applying 3 death proof to self and all allies. You're gonna apply trauma, defense down, offense down, and 3 bleeds to all enemies. The first time this character gains stun, clear stun, heal self and all allies or 20% of this character's max health. When this character or any ally drops below 20% max health, clear taunt from that character on any summon, non-summon death. Gain 1 charge up to maximum of 10. For each charge, you're going to gain 10% more armor, damage, focus, and resistance. You're going to gain 10% more barrier, 20% in total with that T4. You're also going to gain 25% more max health, 50% more max health with the T4. Allies are going to gain 10% more max health, 20% with that T4. Enemies cannot gain stealth. Enemies with exposed cannot fill their speed bar for themselves or allies. This does not apply to speed bar gain through normal means. And when Mephisto is empowered, he gets a little different kit. So the basic is going to attack the primary target for 50% of the target's max health with the T4, 30% without the T4. Applying 2 vulnerables, the damage reduces the max health of the target by the same amount, gaining 3 charges, and then you're going to lose empowered as soon as you do one of these moves. Also with a special. So choose which one to do, which is going to be the best for your battle, because as soon as you do one of these moves, the basic, special, or ultimate, you're going to lose that empowered. So you're going to gain a charge with the T4. You're going to apply expose to the primary target and adjacent enemies as well. Apply expose to all mythic enemies. You're going to lose it empowered, and enemies with expose cannot fill speed bar for themselves or allies. This does not apply to speed bar gain through normal means. This effect persists as long as the character is alive. Also, we have a ultimate here. The T4 is going to add exhausted to all enemies. You're going to apply exhausted to the primary target. 1 random enemy goes to all enemies with the T4. Exhausted to a random enemy as well, then you're going to lose empowered. And for the passive of Mephisto, the major thing is here, when he loses empowered, you're going to apply the battlefield effects Mark of Mephisto to the allied side. And again, Mark of Mephisto on any turn, barrier all allies, 5% of that character's max health. Allies gain 50% drain and 50% armor. Allies cannot gain trauma. Allies that cannot have their speed bar reduced, this battlefield effect is going to last until it's cleared or until the end of the match. Moving on to Leader. Leader is the support for the Cabal team, who is going to be experts in Cosmic Crucible. Leader is going to have a lot of health, a lot of resistance. He's going to hand out positive effects, hands out ability energy, and gives his allies barrier. He is a villain, global support, bio, Cabal, Gamma. His speed is 107, and his unique is Gamma radiation. Is that a surprise? I don't think that should be a surprise to anyone. Moving on to the kit for Leader, the T4 is going to add 60% damage to the primary target. You're also going to gain an assist from a random Cabal or Gamma ally. So you're going to attack the primary target, 300 total % damage with the T4 applied. You're going to heal self and all villain and Gamma allies for 5% of this character's max health. You are going to clear 1 negative effect from self and all villain allies. When this character performs an ISO 8 attack, counter, or assist, flipping 2 negative effects into positive effects for self and all Cabal allies, gaining stealth for 2 turns as well. So very strong move, and I think this is a very nice striker attack. It makes a great use case for striker for Leader. For the special, it is a 5-turn cooldown, excuse me. The T4 is going to do a lot here. It is going to add 80% damage to the primary target. Call 2 villain allies to attack the primary target. And in Crucible, you can apply safeguard to self and all villain and Gamma allies. In totality, the special is going to apply 3 regeneration to self and all villain allies. You're going to heal self and all allies for 20% of this character's max health. You're going to attack the primary target, 350 total % damage with a T4. You're going to call 2 villain allies that have the highest damage that don't have assist now to attack the primary target, and those allies are going to gain 25% damage for this attack. And if this character has 2 or more Cabal allies, prolong the duration of all positive effects on self and all Cabal and villain allies by +1 up to a maximum of 3. Very strong special. Moving on to the ultimate, it is a 7-turn cooldown, starting with 5 ability energy. The T4 is going to clear revive once from the primary and adjacent targets. It's going to add 90% damage to the primary and secondary targets, and it's also going to generate 3 ability energy, so very, very strong move. In totality, what the move is going to do, adding speed up for 2 turns and 2 counters to self and all villain allies. You're going to attack the primary targets, 350% damage. You're going to clear revive once from the primary and adjacent targets. You're actually going to do that before the attack. So yes, if you manage to kill them with this attack, you're removing the revive once before that. So that is good. Bury yourself and all villain allies for 15% of this character's max health. You're going to generate those ability energy, 3 ability energy, not 1, because you should have the T4 applied on this. And in Crucible, you're going to generate an additional ability energy to all villain allies. It's going to go up to 3 with the T4 on there. The passive, 2 steps ahead. It is a strong, strong move. What the T4 is going to do. On spawn, you're going to apply Safeguard to self and all Cabal allies until this character takes a turn. On enemy turn, bury yourself and all villain allies by 10% of this character's max health. Very similar to what Cosmic Ghost Rider does. In totality, on spawn, what leader is going to do? Gain 3 evades, apply defense up for 2 turns to self and all villain allies, apply Safeguard to self and all Cabal allies as well. On spawn and on turn, you're going to gain 1 charge up to a maximum of 50 charges for the following. Each ally with a different class: Brawler, Blaster, Controller, Protector, and Support. And for each Cabal ally, each hero enemy gain 2 charges instead. So they're gaining more charges for them. When this character or a Cabal ally drops below 50% max health for the first time, do the following to that character. You're going to flip Disrupted, apply Stealth, Defense Up, and Barrier for 10% of this character's max health. For every 5 charges, you're going to gain 5% crit chance, 5% crit damage, 5% block chance for self and all villain allies. So you could get this multiplied by 10. If you get a maximum of those 50 charges. You're also going to gain 50% max health, 50% more armor. In Crucible, villain allies are also going to gain that max health and also going to gain that 50% armor as well. Very, very strong kit for leader. As we move on to the last new character of the team, Iron Patriot. He is a damage and focus character. He's also going to apply tons of vulnerable. And what the devs said, you may want to rethink and strategize new ISO 8 composition for his allies. Skirmisher, Raider, they may not be necessary because of the vulners that he applies. His speed is a decent 119. He is a villain, global tech, blaster, and Cabal character. And his unique is this stuff: titanium alloy. Cyclops takes that. Colossus takes that. Moving on to the basic of Iron Patriot. The T4 is going to add 30% damage to the primary and secondary targets. Apply defense down for 2 turns instead of 1 turn. And it's also going to apply heal block, disrupted, and slow for 2 turns when he uses an ISO 8 attack, counter, or an assist. What the move is going to do in totality: attacking primary and adjacent targets, 300% total damage with the T4 and a defense down for 2 turns. And when he performs an ISO 8 counter or an assist, he's going to clear immunity, a defense down for 2 turns. He's also going to counter attack. And he's going to do defense down for 2 turns, heal block for 2 turns, disrupted for 2 turns, and slow as well for 2 turns. So very, very good basic. Again, this is a very strong use case for striker possibility. Let's move on to the special though. It is a 5-turn cooldown. The T4 is going to add 80% piercing to all targets. It's also going to clear all positive effects. So what the move is going to do in totality: attacking all enemies, 300% piercing, clearing all positive effects from the enemies. You're also going to apply a vulnerable to a maximum of 5, +1 defense down to a maximum of 3 for each target. In Crucible, you're going to apply trauma for 2 turns to all enemies, gaining 500% extra focus for this attack. This attack, it cannot be dodged. Moving on to the ultimate, the T4 is going to add 100% piercing to the primary and secondary targets. It's also going to apply 2 vulnerables up to a maximum of 5. And what the move is going to do in totality: flipping deflect, minor deflect on primary and adjacent targets. Then you're going to attack the primary adjacent targets, 400% total piercing with the T4, applying 2 vulnerables up to a maximum of 5, defense down for a max for 2 turns, heal block 2 turns, 2 bleeds. You're going to apply stun to the primary target, and this attack cannot be dodged. Moving on to the passive, the T4 in Crucible. With 2 or more Cabal allies, enemy characters with vulnerable cannot fill speed bar for themselves or allies. This does not apply to speed bar gain through normal means. So that vulnerable becoming more and more important. And if this character has 2 or more Cabal allies, enemies cannot gain stealth. In totality, that passive is going to be a long wall of text on spawn, +1 vulnerable to all enemies to a maximum of 5. This cannot be blocked or dodged. Gain assist now on each Cabal ally's turn. On turn, grant assist now to a random Cabal ally. Enemies with vulnerable take additional 10% damage per vulnerable, up to a maximum of 30. Also going to gain 50% damage. You're going to gain 50% focus. Villain allies are also going to gain 50% focus. And in Crucible, villain allies are going to gain 50% damage. If this character has 2 or more Cabal allies, this character and villain allies gain 100% accuracy. So that is going to stop Weaver from getting her charges off in Cosmic Crucible. If this character has 2 or more Cabal allies, enemy characters will vulnerable, not fill speed bar for themselves or allies. This does not apply to speed bar gain through normal means. And on villain ally crit, apply vulnerable to all enemies up to a maximum of 5. And moving on to their newly reworked Namor, his health went up by 18%. Damage stat went up by 26%, armor went up by 7%, focus up by 31%, and his resistance up by 6%. Moving on to his basic, the changes that happen here. Well, all he was doing previously was attacking the primary target, 210% damage. He's doing more than that now. Total with the T4 is going to be 280% damage. You're still adding that 50% piercing, but now you're also applying heal block for 2 turns. Bleed for a turn as well. And this, when this character performs an ISO 8 counter or an assist, this attack always crits and applies an additional 2 bleeds. Moving on to this special, in totality, you're going to attack the primary target 350% damage. Also attacking the adjacent targets. The adjacent targets you used to attack them, only 340% damage. On target block, use the bonus attack for more piercing to the primary and adjacent targets. Well, you're just doing that now. You don't need to have a block. And also in Crucible, attacking the primary and secondary targets, applying bleed to those targets as well. The ultimate still attacks all enemies for 300% damage, but now you're going to flip all positive effects on each target. You're also going to reduce the speed bar of enemies on that have vulnerable by 50%. On War Offense, you're still going to reduce the speed bar of all enemies, so they don't need to have vulnerable in War Offense, but this extends it to Cosmic Crucible, and I like that. The attack is still unavoidable, cannot be counterattacked, and it always crits instead of just on War Offense. And last but not least is the passive. Well, you're doing a bunch of different stuff here. You're still gaining more damage. You're gaining 30% more damage instead of the 20% that was before. You're gaining that 30% armor. On spawn, this stuff is totally new. Offense up for 2 turns. Deflect itself and all Fantastic Four and all Cabal allies. On self or villain ally crit, bury yourself and all villain allies for 5% of this character's max health. I speed up to self and all Cabal allies. Fantastic Four and Cabal allies are gonna gain that damage. That just got extended to Cabal. That Fantastic Four did have that extra damage. And in Crucible, if this character has 2 or more Cabal allies, enemies cannot gain death proof. That seems very, very fun for theory crafting. So those are the kits for Mephisto and the upcoming Cabal team. Let me know which one you are more excited about. For me, I think it's gonna be Cabal because you're gonna feel those effects right away. Whereas Mephisto, I don't think I'm gonna unlock that character until months and months. Maybe towards the end of the year is when I'm gonna unlock Mephisto. So I'm more excited about Cabal for right now, but as you know, as soon as you unlock Mephisto, it's going to be a game changer in Marvel Strike Force. So let me know your thoughts on both these teams and this character. Hopefully this video did provide you some value, and if it did, leave it a like. It's free, helps out the channel. And if you want to check out how to maximize all these 6th anniversary events right now, check out the video up there, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day. Hulk fist bump, ValleyFlyin out!